If you have any questions about any of the content in this video, just drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Enjoy the video. Alright, so the first few questions for fractions, decimals and percentages. Let's make a start. So the first one, which is greater, 7/25 or 0.3? Right, so we need to get these both into an equivalent form, so either both as fractions, both as decimals, or both as percentages. Let's do them both as decimals, why not? So this one is of course already done, so this is 0.3. But we can convert this left-hand side one into a decimal by multiplying top and bottom by 4. So if we multiply everything by 4, we end up with 28/100, and we should be able to spot that this is equal to 0.28. So which one is bigger? Well, our answer is going to be 0.3, so 0.3 is the bigger value. Okay, moving on to the second part, 2/3 or 60%. Okay, so we either convert these both into fractions with the same denominator, or both into percentages, or both into decimals. Let's do percentages as this one is already done. So to convert this into percentage, let's first convert it into a decimal. So we know that 2/3, or we should know, this is equal to 0.66, and then this will recur forever. So 0.6 recurring, we say. And then as a percentage, we just need to multiply by 100. So we end up with 66.6 recurring. And we should be able to spot that, of course, this is the bigger answer. So, yeah, 2/3 is bigger. So we put our answer down as 2/3. Okay, for the next set of questions, we need to convert the following fractions to percentages. Okay, the easiest way to do this is to get the denominator to be 100, so we can multiply top and bottom by 10, first of all, and we end up with 60/100, and then as a percentage, we just then need to multiply this by 100 again, and this gets us 60, so the answer is 60%. Same thing, let's get the denominator to be 100, so we need to multiply by 2, which gets us 64/100, and then we just need to multiply 64/100 by 100, and this gets us, our answer is 64, so the answer is 64%. Okay, and moving on to our final one, part C, so 3/5, so we need to get 100 on the denominator again. So we're going to multiply everything by 20, so this gets us 60/100, and then 60/100 multiplied by 100 is equal to 60, so our answer is 60%. Just before we carry on with the video, I'd like to remind you that a full in-depth course is available for this topic over on my website. It includes everything you need, from the theory to complete worked examples and even your own exam at the end to test yourself. Head on over to benthetutor.com to see all the courses I have available that guarantee your grades will go to the moon. Enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, right, so the next one, we've got 3 columns, fraction, decimal, percentage, and it's partly filled in, and we need to complete the table. Okay, let's start with this one here. So 77%. Easy one, to a decimal is just 0.77, so just divide by 100. And then to get this as a fraction, we just do 77/100. Okay, moving on to the next one, we've got 0.25. This should be an easy one, we should be able to spot this as 1/4. So we can just put 1/4 here. You could also do 25/100, as it doesn't say to put the fractions in their simplest form, but we'll just do 1/4, because why not? And then as a percentage, nice and easy, 25%. Okay, 3/5, so we should be able to work this one out. If not, you could multiply by 20 top and bottom, and you'll work out that it's 0.60, and then as a percentage it's 60%. 33.3 recurring, this should be a known one, so we should know that this is equal to exactly 1/3, and as a decimal we could just say 0.3 recurring. Okay, 0.1. Well, this is another fairly straightforward one. We should know that this is equal to 10%. If you didn't, just multiply by 100. And then for the fraction, this is 1/10, 1/10. Okay, the final one, 75%. Again, we should really know this. It's 3/4. And to convert to a decimal, just divide by 100 and get 0.75. Okay, next one. So this one's a little bit different. We've got some words pretty much, so we just need to pick up some information from the words. Okay, so Esther, I think that's how you say it. That's a hard name to say. Has baked 32 cookies. 20% of the cookies are chocolate, a quarter are blueberry, 0.3 are lemon, the rest are plain. How many cookies are plain? Right, so we need to add all of these together basically. So we've got 20%, we've then got 1/4, and we've got 0.3. So we need to either convert these all to a decimal or a fraction or a percentage really. Let's do a decimal. Okay, so converting them all to a decimal, for 20% just divide by 100 and you should get 0.2. 1/4. Again, we should really know this one, it's 0.25. If you didn't, you could multiply the denominator by, what could you multiply it by? 25, and then you'd end up with 100 on the denominator, and the numerator will be the decimal. And the final one is of course already done, so this is 0.3. We then just need to do 0.2 plus 0.25 and then plus 0.3, and this gets us 0.75, not 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so we know that 1 take away 0.75, that's going to give us as a decimal form how many cookies are plain. So 0.25 as a decimal of the cookies are plain. Okay, so it's probably easier to now convert this to a fraction. So converting this to a fraction, this is equal to 1/4. So 1/4 of the 32 cookies are plain. So 1/4 of 32, we just need to divide 32 by 4 and we end up with 8. So we can say that 8 of the cookies are plain. Okay, moving on to part B. Next week, Ether, okay, so the name's changed now. Ether bakes cookies again in the same ratio. This time Esther bakes 60 cookies. Okay, so we've had 3 different names now. Okay, anyway, 60 cookies. How many lemon cookies does she bake this week? Right, okay, so lemon is, where is it? 0.3 or lemon. So let's work this out. So we can say first of all 0.3 is equal to, we can just say 30%, just to make it a bit easier to work out the answer. Percentages are just a bit easier, and I mean we could have done fraction here, that's also fine, to work out the answer than decimals. So we now just need to work out what 30% of 60 is, and we can do this by doing a quick little trick. Or we can do, when both the percent and the number in the question both end in 0, we can literally just do the first value, which is 3, multiplied by the first value, which is 6, and this gets us 18. So the answer is 18 cookies. Let me just explain this rule in a bit more detail because I don't need to just rely on this. What we can do is we can do 30 multiplied by 60 and then divide by 100. So this will get us 1800 over 100, which is equal to 18 as well. So that's pretty much what this rule is doing. Don't rely on this rule, it's just a shortcut. If you fully understand the concept, do this method instead. Just before we get into the next question, if you'd like to get some one-on-one support, just drop me an email over at tutoring@benthetutor.com and we can arrange a session. Okay, right, next question, another wordy one, so a little bit harder. So Tom's grandma has £60 to give to her 4 grandchildren. Tom gets a third, Alice gets 0.25, John gets 20%, and Susan gets the rest. Who receives the most? You must show you're working out. Okay, cool. Right, so we've got Tom, we've got Alice, we've got John, and we've got Susan. And Tom gets 1/3, Alice gets 0.25, John gets 20%, and Susan gets the rest. Okay, so the first thing is to work out what portion does Susan actually get. So what we're going to do is convert all of these to, what should we convert them to? Let's convert them all to a fraction because we've got a recurring decimal here, so that'll be a bit of a mess. So let's convert them all to a fraction. So 1/3 will just stay as 1/3, 0.25 is 1/4, 20% is 1/5. Okay, so now we need to get the denominators to be the same for all of them. So this is quite a long question actually. So let's put the denominators as 30 as that is a common denominator for all three. So as 30 we have 10 over 30 we have, oh no, 30 doesn't work, what am I saying? Let's have a think. We could do 60 actually, so we'd get 20 over 60, we would get 15 over 60, and we would get 12 over 60. Okay, so if we then add all of these up, we end up with 47 over 60, and then if we come over to the left hand side, we do, we can just say 1, so the entire money, so one whole, take away 47 over 60 is equal to 13 over 60. So now we know what fraction Susan gets, so let's just write that here, so 13 over 60. Okay, right, who receives the most money? Okay, so who's got the biggest fraction pretty much? So we've got 20, 15, 12 and 13, so it's Tom. Tom gets the most money, so we'll just put our answer as Tom. Right, okay, so our final question, we are told 4 friends are ordering pizza. I mean, that sentence is awful. 4 friends all order pizza, that doesn't make sense. The amount of pizza each person gets is shown as a fraction below. Well, it's not, we've got a decimal percentage. Anyway, I know what they mean. So we've got 4 different portions of a pizza that they all eat. Who eats the most pizza? Right, let's have a look then. So we've got M for Matthew, L for Lily, G for George, and S for Sam. And what do they all eat? So we've got 0.8, we've got 3/4, 77%, and 82%. Right, so we need to just convert these all to the same thing pretty much. As 2 of them are already percentages, let's just do that, shall we? So 0.8 is a percentage, is 80%. 3/4 is 75%. And then, of course, we've got 77% and 82%. Right, so who eats the most? Well, it's 82%, that's the biggest one. So it's S for Sam. So Sam eats the most. And, I mean, we've shown our working out up here, so that's fine. Okay, let's do part B. So 4 pizzas are ordered in total. How much pizza is left? Right. Oh, give your answer as a fraction. Okay, right. So let's first of all add up all of our percentages. So we've got 80, 75, 77 and 82. So 80 plus 75 plus 77 plus 82. And that gets us, I don't trust myself to do that in my head, so let me get the calculator. 314. And because there's 4 people, this is out of a total of 400%. So we can convert this to a fraction by saying it is 314. Or is that easy to do this? Okay, so we can say that eaten is 314 over 400. So to work out how much is left, we just do 1, take away this, and we get 86 over 400. Okay, what can we do now? We can divide by 2 first of all, because I don't know what the highest common factor is. So if we divide by 2, we end up with 43 over 200. And is that all we can do? I'm pretty sure 43 is prime, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's the final answer. I'm going to cheat a bit and use my calculator to see. Yeah, that is the final answer. So we end up with 43 over 200 as our simplest fraction.